right, it is Monday, May 15th, 2023. I just got the Digibug on cruise control. Good to go, baby. I left I just got done at the gas station. I left one of my cards, my calling cards. I was just thinking of it. I haven't done it in a while. But these things, they're pretty cool. They've got information on the front and the back. There's no free Litecoin or Bitcoin on it. No, it's just information so that somebody might see it. I leave them at the little, they got little point of sale things over the gas station pumps. I'll stick one up there, and then, maybe somebody will see it. Maybe somebody will scan it. The main thing is just interacting with it and seeing it somewhere out in the wild, Bitcoin, Litecoin. And hopefully that triggers something in somebody that subconsciously, they start looking at it. And that's the main thing. You start looking at it, and then you decide, well, is this something I want to maybe get into, or what is it, and learn about it. The main thing is about cryptocurrencies, and a lot of people, they got into crypto because price go up. Oh my gosh, I'm going to make dollar bills out of this, Pepe coin, Shiba, the meme, Doge, the meme coins, Doge isn't so much a meme coin anymore. It's proof of work mined with, merge mined with Litecoin. So, you can say it's a meme coin, but it's kind of proven itself out. But the other coins created out of nothing, you get a lot of these Ethereum ERC20 tokens. Somebody just done in a minute, they got a new coin. And if they got the right branding on it, people, let's go branding coin. Make sure you send me some if you do that. That way, it's probably been done. But I like to put those out there, those OG coins, Bitcoin, Litecoin. I need one with Digibyte on it too. Right now, I was just thinking about the Digibyte Litecoin ratio. I've talked about this before several months back, these ratios, coin to coin, they kind of get out of line once in a while to where, Bitcoin and Litecoin, the programmed ratio is 4-to-1. And there's 4 Litecoin for every Bitcoin. 21 million Bitcoin, 84 million Litecoin. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be that way. Just like in the gold and silver world, doesn't mean just because the ratio coming out of the ground and what's being produced is going to be reflected in the dollar price, because there's so many other factors. One's been used longer, potentially, like Bitcoin, for instance. It's been around longer. More money has come into it earlier. It has been that coin that, since it's a first mover, it's been that coin that everybody resonates with. And all the big money came into it first. The institutional buying goes into that first. And it doesn't necessarily mean because the ratio is 4-to-1 that, they're at an equal value. Because here's another example. Vertcoin. It's got a 4-to-1 ratio with Bitcoin. Only 84 million can exist. But what's it do? Can you even buy it? Does it have liquidity? Has the network gone down before? Yes. So there's a lot of different factors. Just because you create a coin, it's not about the number. However, in the case of Bitcoin and Litecoin, you got to look at it and say, okay, should it be 4-to-1? Well, does Litecoin do everything Bitcoin does? Yeah. Does it do it faster? Yeah. Does it do it cheaper? Yeah. It's got a fixed supply? Yeah. Does it have privacy? Yeah. Has it been running nonstop for 11.5 years? Yeah. Okay, well, then you can kind of make the argument, or start to make the argument, that maybe it is undervalued. Maybe it should be closer to 4-to-1 than 300-to-1. Because when you use it, you start thinking, And that's usually people get into Litecoin is because they're drawn into it into the crypto space because of Bitcoin, or because of some meme coin like, Pepe or something. And then they start learning about it, and they stick around, and they say, well, I got this Bitcoin and I'm trying to move it, or I opened a wallet. There's some companies right now to where you open their wallet, they'll send you $10 in free Bitcoin. All right. So they send you the Bitcoin, and then you're like, okay, I want to move it into another wallet. And then you realize the fees last week were $25, $30 just to move it. And you think, wait a minute, I got $10 of Bitcoin. It's going to cost me $25 to move it? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Was there a better way? And then you think, well, can I swap it into Litecoin and move it for under a penny? And then transfer it back into Bitcoin in another wallet or something. You know what I mean? So anytime you start looking at it and say, is there a more efficient, a better way to do things? And so a lot of people who've come into Litecoin, it's because they came into Bitcoin and realized, wait a minute, these fees, they're blowing up. They're too much. I can't move them. I can't move the coin. It doesn't make sense. And then they start looking at Litecoin and lights come on. Anyway, that's just one path for some people. Anyway, what I was talking about is the ratios, Digibyte. the programmed ratio of Digibyte to Bitcoin is 1,000 to 1, because there's 21 billion Digibyte that are going to exist versus 21 million Litecoin. So the ratio of Litecoin to Digibyte is 250 to 1. So every one Litecoin, there's 250 Digibyte that exist, you know, when you're talking total supply. There's a cat in the road, and he's playing chicken. Not a very old cat. Okay. You're looking at me. This is where I need the 360 cam, you know, all angles, all the way around. The globe cam. I shouldn't call it a globe cam, because then it's a flat cam, right? It's an earth cam, but that's what I've got now, the flat cam. But you've got these I shouldn't say natural ratios, these programmed ratios. And so when they get out of line, I mean, you can start looking at that. So let's say, for instance, you like Digibyte, you like Litecoin, and you're kind of, I like them both for different reasons. I really, you know, one over the other, and I'm kind of that way. I like Litecoin a little bit more, but I drive a Digibug. I mean, in the future, I'll probably like Digibyte more. I don't know, we'll see. Right now, Litecoin does everything it needs to do for me. It's got the sound, it's got everything I talk about anyway. So, but you see a ratio of 250 to 1, Digibyte and Litecoin. And then now I look, so if you think, wow, it's 2,500 to 1. If I can take one Litecoin and get 2,500 Digibyte, that's like 10 times. Now again, you know, it's not apples to apples necessarily, because you can't get Digibyte everywhere. It's not as liquid. Does it have Mimblewimble in it? No. Does it have better things than Litecoin built into it? Yeah. I mean, so it's a trade-off. Well, it hasn't been running as long as Litecoin, but it's been running nonstop since 2014, whereas Litecoin was 2011. You know, so you look at it, you weigh all these things, and you make a decision. And there's a natural ratio in the markets that kind of, you know, you find historically. And so when it gets out of that range, you start thinking, oh, maybe I should take this one and get some of this one, because it's kind of out of balance, because at some point it's going to correct. Well, then you can take that and put that back into that. So anyway, now's one of those times. Litecoin right now, last time I looked, you could get over 10,800 Digibyte for one Litecoin. And it wasn't that long ago. It was about, the ratio was close to 7,000 to 1. So what I've noticed is, you know, this 10,000 to 5,000 to 1 Litecoin to Digibyte ratio is kind of where it's been, you know, trending for quite a long time. So when it gets too far out of whack, you look at it and you say, well, you know what? It's like gold to silver. You know, if you can get 1 ounce of gold and take it and get, you know, 100 ounces of silver, kind of might want to think about doing that. But if it gets down to 10 to 1, you start thinking, well, shoot, I can take 10 ounces of silver and get 1 ounce of gold. Maybe I should go the other way. So the same thing happens with Litecoin to Digibyte. And I've seen it lately, Litecoin strengthening today. You know, this may be that move into the halving, we'll see. But watch this bird. He's just walking around. Run over a bird. F up my karma. Or I'll have some more karma attached to me that I need to shed. That's all I need. I do enough damage on my own. I don't need any accidents. So you've got a natural, this ratio that's 10,000. It's 10,800 right now. So you can take one Litecoin and get 10,800 Digibyte, which I think is pretty good, because I saw it this year. I think it was early this year. It went to just over 11,000, and I haven't seen it get better than that, and that was really brief. So anytime it starts getting to 11,000 to 1, I think that's a pretty good move. Now, Litecoin could go stupid now, watch, into the halving and correct like Dogecoin did against Bitcoin, and then, you know, and then who knows, it'll be 20,000 to 1 or something. But, so don't get crazy. Don't be taking everything and moving it back and forth. You know, you don't want to do that. You want to just take a little bit, you know, and you want to be happy that if you get stuck in the trade, that you're happy with those coins. So I'm just looking at these things that get out of whack. It's just something to watch. I can do the same thing with Litecoin to Bitcoin, the ratios, to see where, you know, how close it is. But when you think about it, it was over 400 to 1 Bitcoin to Litecoin. You could have taken one Bitcoin and gotten 400 Litecoin. Now that ratio it will correct at some point and get closer to Bitcoin. It's just the timing thing. Let's say between now and the halving, which is like the beginning of August, it goes to 100 to 1. Okay, so if you're taking 1 Bitcoin, you got 400 Litecoin. Well, if it goes 100 to 1, you can take those 4 Litecoin and get 400 Litecoin, switch them back and get 4 Bitcoin. So you took 1 Bitcoin, turned it into 4 Bitcoin. So these ratio, and this is what it does. And if it goes 50, that's 8 Bitcoin. So watch these ratios of these coins, because, you know, they have a fixed supply. It's in math, and you kind of see how they get out of whack. And when it gets too far one way, it will correct the other way. It's just that it might be 6 months later. It might be a year later. In the case of Litecoin to Bitcoin, it might be years later. But it will eventually seek out its correct value. It's just that it's not a quick thing, you know, overnight. So just be aware of that. But watch those ratios. Right now, Digibyte and Litecoin are kind of interesting. Something to take a look at. You get over 10,000, almost 11,000 Digibyte for 1 Litecoin, you know. And there's all kinds of exchanges out there where you can swap. Just look for swap exchanges, and you know, you can check those out. And you'll send it, and then they'll send it back. Send 1 Litecoin, they'll send back 11,800 Digibyte to your wallet. Anyway, something to look at. Over the weekend, we had Ronda, Santos here in Peoria, Illinois. Not a big event, not a big thing. I mean, I shouldn't say it's not a big event, but nothing major. There was supposedly going to be some protests, and they had the protesters on the news, and wow, that's all I can say. Wow. Quite the little crowd. There's probably 25, 30 people maybe, and they were all over the top. I mean, and that's fine. It's just that, I don't know, some people don't do themselves any favors. You know, it's hard to take people seriously sometimes. You just got to be cognizant of that. And I don't know, whatever. That's the TikTok social media world we're living in. I get a sense right now, just a little bit of foreboding. I mean, this is just me. This whole thing with the border open and buses, people are getting bussed in. I mean, big white buses taking people across the country. You know, I don't know how I feel about that. And I get it. You know, you're taking, you know, the Texas governor, the Florida governor's done it. You're taking people who are here illegally, essentially, and you're busing them to cities that call themselves sanctuary cities. So I get it. It's, you know, hey, we'll take care of people. People should be taken care of. Okay, fine, here, take care of them. And so Chicago's clearing out, you know, floor space, hotels, basically, to put people in, because that's one of the cities that are receiving these people. They're getting dumped in Chicago. I mean, I don't know if the governor should be doing that. Really, it is a failure of the national government not protecting the border. So at some point, I think, as a state, when the national government's failed you, you start taking action. You build your own wall. You build your own fence. And see, I think Arizona tried that. They put shipping containers to do it, and then some federal court or something said, no, you can't do that, take it down. Well, I wouldn't take it down. If you want to be a strong governor, that's what you do. You know, I don't know that it's right to be dumping the problem onto another state. You know, that's, you know, I'm torn on that. I mean, I get it. The other city is saying, yeah, we're a sanctuary city, but, you know, as a governor, you're not fixing the problem. You're still letting the people in that shouldn't be here. Is really what it comes down to, unvetted. So I just don't, I don't know that that's good. You know, and so I think that's maybe my sense of foreboding, you know, just a little bit of darkness there that, I mean, this is not a good situation. It's not solving the problem. You're just shifting the problem. It's like a debt ceiling. Oh, we'll raise the debt ceiling, which they haven't done yet, but, you know, it doesn't solve anything. It's a temporary fix. It's very short-sighted, and it doesn't fix anything. It just, you know, offshoots it to someone else. And that's the same thing with this immigration situation. You're just pushing it off on somebody else. Man, I need a haircut. Look at that. Oh, I just hate it. It's just too long. I like it short. Look at this. Fluffed up. It's just a mess. So anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. It's just it shouldn't be happening. The border should be controlled. States should step up and just say, hey, we're doing it. And I don't care what the federal government says. I mean, states got to start realizing, you know, they are, but they got to start realizing that, hey, we're sovereign here and we're going to do what we want. I don't care what the national government says anymore. They've betrayed us. They have not done what they're supposed to do. They have not defended the borders. I mean, that's one of their big things is, you know, defense. Defend the border. Protect rights. Well, you're not protecting the rights of people's property when you just allow people to come in and walk all over them. So that's, as a state, you've got to say, fine, whatever, I guess we got to fund it. I guess we're going to protect the border. I just don't care. And whatever the national government says, too bad. Tough. We're sovereign. It's our state. You guys aren't doing anything to help. So, F off. So, that's where we're at. I don't know. I just got a little bit of not a good feeling about it. So, anyway, something to watch. Everything's fine, though. Everything's fine, even though the Director of Homeland Security says our immigration system's broken. Admits it. Okay, so what are we going to do about it? Trillions of dollars get created out of nothing, and they can't fix a simple problem like that. It's not that hard. It really isn't. Ask any farmer how to handle it. What you do. Anybody that raises livestock, how do you handle it? How do you control the flow? Yeah. Anyway, here's what it is. What else? I'm trying to think. Oh, American Idol. I wanted to bring that up. It's just kind of a funny thing. I don't watch it. My wife and daughter will have it on, and they barely watch it anyway. They just want to hear the people sing. So last night, I think it was American Idol was on. Maybe it was recorded. I don't even know. But you can vote, and you had to vote by the end of the show. So she said, well, it's really not fair for the last person, is it, who sings? That you got to wait to hear them sing and then vote, hurry up before the show's over, and then they kick off, 2 out of the 5 people, so there's 3 left. I said, yeah, you're kind of right. Last person to go. It's like, I don't know. But I noticed on the voting and the little small things, hey, you need to complete voting by the end of the last commercial tonight. And it said, maximum of 10 votes per number. I thought, what is this, a presidential election? A maximum 10 votes here? We put limits on it? No. 1 vote, that's all you need. Why do we need 10 votes per number? That's not fair to somebody like me. Not that I vote for it, but if I did, it's like, I don't want to vote 10 times. I just want to vote once. This is the person I like. This is who I'm going to vote for. But you can vote 10 times. Silly. Absolutely silly. But maybe that's part of the conditioning process. Oh, I want to vote 10 times. I'm going to put my time in to vote. Whereas this guy, this chump, he's only voting once. What's wrong with him? He thinks his 1 vote counts. I'm voting 10 times. Screw him. I don't know. It's just, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. It's something I saw. All right, we'll see what happens with the debt ceiling. If that gets raised, watch those ratios in crypto. Get your assets in your possession, whether it be gold, whether it be silver, whatever it may be, whether it be crypto, whatever it is, just do it. Do it. And you know what? Some people, the conversation constantly comes up that I try to talk to friends and family about crypto and they just don't want to hear it. I even talk to them about the banking collapse. I tell them the banks are collapsing and they just don't think anything's going to happen to them. Talk to them about gold and silver. They just don't get it. These are kind of nice. You can get these made up. I had somebody make these up for me, but you can go on, I don't know what the name of the platform is, to where you can make your own stuff and they'll print it off and send it to you. But you can make your own up and, oh, there's a little rabbit right there. It's a cute little rabbit. I wonder if I should move the camera. Oh, just went under the car. I could probably open the door and the little guy would hop in, or little gal, hard to say. But yeah, I just hopped into the car. Rabbits everywhere out here. Look out, Mitch is coming back today, though, so, you might do something to stop the rabbits. Hard to say. They're safe over here, though. Across the street, maybe not so much. But, yeah, keep, those are good things. These cards are good things to just drop and hand out to people and say, hey, here. And I do it if I pay for something locally to, people I know. I'll be like, hey, take this. If you're interested, just get a hold of me. You never know, and that's what you do. It beats the aggravation of trying to convince people and trying to tell them the story. Hey, listen, things are falling apart. I've been there, and it's not worth it. I've gotten to the point where it's just not worth it to me. I'm not going to beat you in the head and say, this is what's happening. You see that this is happening and this is happening, right? Well, yeah, but what do you need to do about it? I don't know. They'll fix it, you know, and it's not worth it. So what you do is say, hey, you know, here's a card. If you're interested in crypto, I mean, it allows you to get your money outside the banking system, and you see how the banks are operating right now. Kind of scary, right? And then yeah, I know. And just leave it with them. Hey, you got any questions or anything? You know, you can look that stuff up. It's good resources. But I mean, if you're interested in finding out how to get into crypto, I can help you. All right, man, have a good day. You know, and you just, that way you're not forcing anything on them, but you're dropping a little bit of hints on them, and they'll start thinking, next time that another bank goes down, they'll start thinking, man, is my money safe in there? He did say something about, you know, controlling it outside the banks. You know, maybe I should give him a ring, or maybe I should email him, you know, because go to his website that's on there. And you do little things like that, and it saves you the aggravation, because at that point, because I think it's wrong for us to know, it's wrong for me anyway, to have knowledge that can potentially help somebody that they're looking for and don't have the answers to, and it's wrong for me not to share that and at least put it out into the universe. I mean, I don't have to go around trying to evangelizing everybody. Oh, you need to do that. I've tried that, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So that's why I kind of do the things I do now. It's just, I'll just put it out there on YouTube and Twitter or whatever it is. And if somebody reaches out, if it wakes them up, then cool. You know, I've done my part. There goes a little rabbit. So cute. Such a little and innocent. Doesn't realize the danger. If I had the dogs out here, or if they were across the street. So you realize that you're not going to fix the world all alone. Nobody's ever been able to do that. Send a savior down here and still people won't listen. So, you know, think about that. So you're not going to save the world. There's not. So you try to put the information out there with the least amount of aggravation on your part, because it does get frustrating, you know, being, you know, just, no, you're an idiot, you're full of crap, it's never going to happen. You know, you're like, people are nuts. What's wrong with you? You don't see this. So you just put the information out there, little seeds, and if you've done your part, you put it out into the universe. And if someone needs help, they know where to go. And if all of us did that, just little things like that at your own speed. Some people don't like to, you know, get into arguments and have conversations and, you know, have pushback. So then don't. Put that information out there and be open or there for them when they're ready. I mean, because they're obviously not ready now. And so if enough pain comes to them, right, Daddy-O, when they feel enough pain, at least you are there as a resource. And, you know, when they have that come to Jesus moment, you know, they'll be able to say, hey, I remember my buddy's into crypto and he knows about how to get gold and silver. Maybe I should hit him up, because they're going to want to know at that point. And then you can share with them. Then you can have the conversation on your own terms at that point, instead of trying to convince people of something. Oh, now they're convinced. All right, now I got to go back to, you know, the guy that had the crypto guy or whatever, the silver guy. So yeah, you don't put yourself in a point of aggravation. You know, don't put yourself in a situation where you feel like you're frustrated all the time. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. You figure out different ways if you want to help and you want to get the information out there, which a lot of people, once you've gone down the rabbit hole, you're like, oh my God, I got to share this with somebody. You know, it's just like the whole world, it's corrupt. Vampires everywhere. You know, I got to tell everybody about it. Well, maybe they're not ready. Most people aren't ready, but they're getting more and more ready with everything that's happening right now. So you just let them know when you're ready. We'll talk about vampires and vampire casinos. All right, enough of this rambling. It's Monday. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope you have a wonderful week. And you got to trust yourself, though. I mean, you do. And that's what I just said. It goes along with that. You just have to figure out ways to, if you feel like you got to spread the word, you know, and the message, figure out ways to do that so that it does not disrupt your life and put you in a situation to where, you know, you're fighting yourself or questioning yourself. So that's what vampire casinos do. That's what all casinos do. I knew I should have bet on black and I put it on red. In my mind, I knew it was that and I didn't do it. Knew I should have put it on green. It was going to come up. I knew it. Didn't do it. shouldn't have taken that hit. You know, that's all they do. They second guess you. They get you to second guess yourself and doubt yourself. So, as they say in war games, the only way to win, interesting game, the only way to win is not to play. So you don't play global thermonuclear war with these people. No, you just exit the casino. And then when other people are ready to exit the casino, you'll be out there, you know, standing on your pulpit, I guess, you know, on your soapbox and with the sign, the end is near. Find out crypto here. Learn about crypto here. So just be ready for those people, and, you know, you'll fulfill your mission that you've come here to do. All right. Love you all. Have a wonderful day, and always trust yourself.